Let me ask you, Mr. Nadler,
Let me
let me ask you a question first.
Let me read you from the ATF website.
Okay, read us that.
Other compliance options provided under the final rule are the following. Remove the short barrel and attach a 16-inch or longer rifled barrel to the firearm. Permanently remove and dispose of or alter the stabilizing brace such that it cannot be reattached. Turn the firearm into your local ATF office or destroy the firearm. The option to...
In addition to register.
Okay.
And of course, the option to register the firearm tax-free pursuant to ATF Final Rule 202R, 202TR8F is scheduled, is in effect.
I'm glad you read that. So now do you understand why what you said before was inaccurate, that all you have to do is separate them?
Or
Because here, let me read you what Mr. Dettelbach, this is the director of the ATF, said about this rule. Detachment, that's not for us to regulate. If somebody simply, we wrote the rule to make it easy to comply with. If somebody just at their home detaches the weapon from the brace and keeps them apart, they do not have to register anything. They can keep the brace, they can keep the business end of the gun.
correct.
That is incorrect. You just read me the rule. Like, this is why we shouldn't be letting the administrative branch write laws, because the people who are supposed to be writing these laws, which is us, and the ATF director don't even understand the rule. And these have consequences, if somebody violates this, of 10 years in prison. And unless there's been a federal injunction, which there have been, but not for the entire country, you could go to prison for 10 years for having one of these on your pistol.
On your pistol, yes.
And for 10 years, that wasn't
Yes,
the case.
on your, no,
and there's
on your pistol, because that's what this seeks to stop. You can have a brace, you can have a pistol, but you can't attach them to make it, in effect, a rifle.
let me ask you something. Isn't it?
Which has been prohibited since 1934.
Do you think you're going to stop any shootings by doing this?
Yes.
Which can you think any of the mass public shootings or any of the shootings in the past that the shooter would have said, "Oh my gosh, it's illegal to have this thing on this thing, and I'm going to go do a shooting."
All you can say is that if this regulation is in effect and enforced, it will make it harder for people to have mass shootings because the weapons will be less repeatable.
What do you mean by repeatable?
A repeat shooter, that is to say, semi-automatic in effect.
This brace has nothing to do with whether the firearm is manual bolt or semi-automatic or fully automatic.
It makes the pistol, which is otherwise inaccurate. I mean, any pistol is inaccurate, but when you can fire it from the shoulder, it becomes much more accurate.
So why wouldn't they just bring a rifle to the shooting, or two pistols or more rounds? Let me ask you a question. Isn't it true that you would prefer to ban all AR-15s?
Yes.
And isn't it true that you would prefer to ban anything with a detachable magazine?
I would prefer to ban the magazines. Well, actually, to limit the magazines to 15 rounds. That was our legislation that we had last year.
And you think keeping them at 15 rounds instead of 16 rounds makes the firearm
Well, 15
safe?
rounds instead of 100 rounds. I mean, you have to set the limit somewhere.
Are you aware that you can just carry more magazines?
Yeah, but it takes time to reload, and gives law enforcement an opportunity to shoot you while you're reloading.
Why did you pass a bill out of your committee to ban all AR-15s?
Yes, we did.